The fallen city pulsed with a sickly glow as Kai Draven walked through the narrow alleys, each step pulling him deeper into a night he wished he could wake from. His apartment door had been splintered open when he arrived earlier. The lock twisted. The frame crushed inward as though someone had kicked it with monstrous strength. Inside, everything was overturned, drawers ripped out, shelves knocked down, Lena's jacket torn and trampled on the floor, and then the smear of blood by the overturned lamp. Not enough to mean she was gone. Just enough to mean she fought. That was Lena. Brave, stubborn, too trusting for a place like this. He remembered kneeling beside her cracked phone, the screen flickering with static. Her name was typed out in a broken message. The last thing she tried to send before being dragged away. His heart had gone numb. Not panicked. Not furious. Just cold, too cold. The kind of cold he had once carried into every fight of his old life. A cold he thought he had buried with his fists. He returned to the workshop because instinct brought him there. Mara watched him overturn toolboxes until he found them. The old leather gloves he once swore never to use again. When she tried to stop him, he didn't argue. He only said, "They took Lena." Those words alone carried more weight than any explanation. The red envelope came minutes later, left on the counter by a terrified courier who ran before Kai could ask anything. Inside was the syndicate's emblem carved into a metal token. On the back were 3 words, "Fight for her." Kai stared at it until the last fragment of hesitation died. He walked to the old tunnels under the scrapyard, the same tunnels he had once sworn he'd never see again. The gatekeeper recognized him instantly, his face draining of color. "Ghost? No. You're supposed to be dead." Kai felt nothing as he answered, "Not yet." The roar of the underground arena echoed faintly through the metal pipes, a reminder of the world he'd abandoned. A world built on violence, blood, and survival. As Kai entered the dim corridor leading to the fighter chambers, he felt every part of his old self returning piece by piece. The focus, the instinct, the sharpened senses. Lena was somewhere in the grip of the Crimson Syndicate. And if the price of bringing her home was letting the ghost rise again, then so be it. The underground arena was louder than Kai remembered. The vibrations of the crowd's screams shook the metal grates beneath his boots as he entered. The prep chamber. Holographic billboards flickered against the walls, advertising illegal enhancements, bloodsport gambling, and the faces of fighters who had already died that night. The syndicate didn't care about rules anymore. They only cared about spectacle, and the crowd devoured it. Whispers rippled through the fighters the moment Kai stepped inside. That's him. The ghost. Some stared at him with awe, others with jealousy, but most with fear. Legends had a way of unsettling men who thought themselves invincible. Kai tuned out their voices and wrapped his hands with old cloth strips. The ritual calmed him. Slow movements. Focused breathing. Every turn of the bandage brought back memories of when he was younger. Angrier, hungrier. But now he had only one hunger left. Lena's safety. His escort arrived. A guard with cybernetic arms and a smirk that tried too hard. "You're up next. Boss wants to see if the stories are real." Kai didn't answer. The guard led him through a narrow hallway that opened into the arena's blinding lights. The crowd erupted instantly, a storm of voices. "In the left corner," the announcer thundered, "the chemically enhanced beast of destruction, Breaker." A massive brute strode into the pit. His skin stretched over muscles stacked like concrete blocks. Neon blue veins pulsed across his arms and neck, glowing from the illegal serum flooding his system. He bellowed and slammed his fists together, sending dust into the air. And in the right corner, a ghost returns from the past. "Kai Draven!" The arena exploded. The ghost had returned. Breaker lunged the moment the bell rang, moving faster than a man his size had any right to. His first swing tore a crater into the floor where Kai had been standing a heartbeat earlier. The shockwave rattled Kai's ribs, but he kept moving, slipping left, rolling right, weaving between Breaker's wild strikes. He watched, calculated, waited. Every fighter, no matter how strong, had a rhythm. Breaker's was sloppy, all offense, no patience. When the beast overextended on a downward punch, Kai stepped in and delivered 3 sharp strikes to the ribs. Breaker barely reacted. The serum dulled pain, but it couldn't create skill. The giant caught Kai with a glancing blow that threw him across the pit. Pain shot through his side. He forced his breathing steady, rising before Breaker could close in. The brute roared and charged. Kai didn't dodge this time. He slid inside the arc of a massive swing, hammered a fist into Breaker's throat, then a crushing elbow to the jaw. Breaker's eyes went wide. He collapsed like a falling tower. The arena went silent for one heavy breath. Then the crowd erupted into chaos. Kai walked out without looking back. His message had been delivered. Kai barely had time to wash the blood from his knuckles before syndicate guards appeared. "Varkos wants you," one grunted. Their tone wasn't threatening, it was nervous. The Ghost's victory had shaken the hierarchy. They guided Kai through reinforced doors into the upper levels of the arena, so place fighters rarely saw. As the elevator hummed upward, Kai felt the tension inside him coil tighter. He would see the man who held Lena's fate. Varkos's office overlooked the entire arena, a throne room of cold steel and crimson lighting. The moment Kai stepped inside, Varkos smiled like a man admiring a weapon he'd been waiting years to use. "Kai Draven," he said smoothly. "You performed beautifully." Kai didn't sit. "Where is my sister?" Varkos pressed a button. A hologram flickered to life in a small, cramped cell. Lena sat inside, hugging her knees. Her face was frightened, but she was alive. Kai stepped forward instinctively before the guards tensed behind him. "Relax," Varkos said softly. "She is safe, as long as you do what I require." Kai's jaw tightened. "Say it." "The Tournament of Crimson." Varkos circled his desk and approached him. "We're entering a new era. The city is ready to be reshaped. But every revolution needs a symbol." His eyes gleamed. "You will be that symbol." He slid a metallic contract toward Kai. "Win the tournament. Rise to the top. Become the story the crowds follow." His smile thinned. "When you win the final match, your sister goes free." "And if I refuse?" Kai asked quietly. Varkos didn't blink. "Then she disappears." The room froze. The only sound was Kai's slow, controlled breathing. Then he pressed his thumb to the contract, burning his mark into its surface. Varkos exhaled with satisfaction. "Good, your next fight is in 2 nights." Kai walked out without another word, though the fire inside him burned hotter than ever. Back at the workshop, Mara waited. Her eyes widened when she saw his bruised face and the hollow storm behind his stare. "Kai?" "They have her," he said, "and I'm going to get her back." But even as he said it, he knew the tournament was only the beginning. The syndicate wasn't just trying to control him. They were preparing something far bigger, and Lena had become tangled in it.